If you're gonna cut me and you're gonna tell me something that may not feel good, or you're gonna tell me something that may be better for me in the future, but it may hurt me in the immediate, at least stay around to bandage me up. At least be around to help me because you care about me and you're holding me accountable because you want me to be better.
Let's go, let's grow.
What's going on? My name is Carlos V. Spencer. I am here with yet another episode. Thank you so much for joining us. Those of you watching us on YouTube or another social media platform, thank you for those who are choosing to listen in. Why are we here? Y'all know what it is. We're here to make you better, right? We want you to become better, because when you become better, everything that you do and everything you put your hands to becomes better. You really can do whatever you want to do. Now, take that with a grain of salt. What I mean by that is, don't go do anything, right? Try not to do things that are negative, right? So what I mean by it really doesn't matter what you do. There we go. It matters the person, right? The person who's doing what you do. You ever find yourself in a space where it's like, I've maximized, I'm trying to get better, I'm trying to get to the next level, I'm trying and I don't know why this thing is not getting better, it's maxed out. Sometimes it's because the person needs to become better, so the thing that you're doing automatically becomes better. What do we want to talk about this week? I want to talk about accountability and responsibility. There's a difference between the two, but there's also a benefit between both of those things. Accountability and responsibility. So when I say there's a difference between the two, when you're accountable to someone, usually the best way to put that is accountability is top down, right? Responsibility is bottom up. So you're accountable usually to someone up over you. You're responsible usually for things that may be up under your care, is the best way to put that. So when it comes to accountability, one thing that I found out when it comes to men in particular, I think this can pertain to people as a whole. But when it comes to men in particular, when I say being accountable, usually people can hold other people accountable, right? People can hold other people accountable. You've heard that I need an accountability partner when I want to lose weight, I'm going to school, I want to save money, be better with my credit. I want to be accountable to somebody. You can hold somebody accountable. A lot of people hold other people accountable. I'm going to hold you accountable to that. You've heard people say that statement and make that statement to somebody. But what I found with men, I said this can pertain to people in general, but I find with men that sometimes we don't allow ourselves to be held accountable. We can hold people accountable. You can hold people accountable to that, hold people accountable to this, hold you to a higher standard, but allow yourself to be held accountable. What do I mean when I say that? Open yourself up for somebody to be able to speak into your life where they don't have to knock down doors and they don't have to struggle and fight to hold you accountable. Here's a great example of what that looks like with friends of mine who are close to me. And you don't have to give this carte blanche to everybody, right? You don't have to give everybody this access, but it should be someone. When I allow myself to be held accountable, I have people who are close to me who I tell them and have the conversation with them. If you see me going off track, if you see me doing something that's not good, if you see me moving in a space that just doesn't seem well, tell me about myself. All right, here's a figure of speech. If you see me doing something, it don't smell good, and I'm walking around like it's roses, tell me it don't smell good. Let me know that. And here's one thing that I say to them. If I give you an attitude about holding me accountable, remind me that I told you to hold me accountable, to bring me back to myself. No man should be left as an island. No man should be left to himself. I've said this before, it bears repeating. I'm always right to me. Hey, Carlos, you want to do this? Yeah, let's go and do it. I need somebody on the outside of me to hold me accountable to the things I'm doing. I believe it was Charles Barkley that once said this about Michael Jordan. This is Charles Barkley's statement. Michael Jordan is one of my favorite athletes of all time. This was a time when Michael Jordan was an owner. He may still be an owner, but he was an owner of a basketball team. And Charles Barkley said, Michael Jordan will never be a great owner. It's like, dang, Charles, dang, Chuck. You gonna go at him like that? I thought that was your man. I thought y'all played, on the Olympic team together. Sometimes I dream he is me. You remember Charles Barkley? Like Chuck, if I could be like Chuck. That's not how it goes, but that was Charles Barkley saying that to Michael Jordan when they were playing on the Dream Team. So they were looking like they were having a good time. They was friends. But Charles Barkley said Michael Jordan will never be a great owner. He said he'll never be a great owner because he's surrounded by yes men. I said, man. Now, he caught a lot of flack for that. A lot of people came after him. He stood his ground, right? He stood on his square, as some would say, standing on business, as others would say. He didn't back down from it. He said because he's surrounded by people who are afraid to tell him no. And what Charles Barkley was saying is that until he has people around him who aren't afraid to hold him accountable, who aren't afraid to tell him some things that may not be good, until he has that, he will not be a great owner. What Charles Barkley was saying, the part of it that I definitely agree with, is that you need somebody in your life, you need somebody around you to be able to tell you some things that may be good for you. Here's one of my sayings. If you're going to cut me, at least stay around to bandage me up. Right? That means some people who are for you. That means don't cut me and just leave me bleeding all over the place. That means if you're going to tell me something that may not feel good, or you're going to tell me something that may be better for me in the future, but it may hurt me in the immediate, at least stay around to bandage me up. At least be around to help me because you care about me and you're holding me accountable because you want me to be better. You need people around you like that. You could put a knife in the hand of somebody who's a murderer, and that murderer may use that knife to kill somebody. You could put a knife into the hands of a surgeon, scalpel, in the hands of a surgeon, and that surgeon can heal somebody. Now, the surgeon who's cutting somebody, it may not feel good when the person comes out of surgery. It may not feel good immediately, but their purpose is for the person to feel good eventually, and for them to cut out or to help with this thing that's keeping them from being healthy and keeping them from being the best that they can actually be. That's accountability. Responsibility, in short, is being responsible for things that are up under you, being responsible for things that you are serving, you are helping. My grandfather said, he was a pastor of a church for many years, I believe 40 years or so. He said, if anything goes wrong here, you better believe it was my fault. Responsibility. When I first heard him say it, I said, man, that means you're doing everything? No, what he was saying was, even if somebody else makes a decision and somebody else does something within this organization that I'm leading, and if they do it and it ends up wrong, I'm still responsible for it. That means I will allow myself to be held responsible for the things that are within my care. Too many people try to lead with an iron fist and do it my way and do it because I said, but they're not willing to have the responsibility and know what true leadership is when you're being responsible of saying, even if I didn't do it, I didn't have my hand on it, if it went this way up under my care, I'm still responsible for it. Be accountable, be responsible, be accountable to somebody. Open yourself up to be held accountable to somebody. Be responsible for the things that you are responsible for. Does that mean you got to be perfect? No, it does not. But it does mean you should be intentional to be the best that you can when it comes to be accountable and when it comes to being responsible. I'm Carlos V. Spencer. Thank y'all for joining in yet another week. Continue to get better, and everything that you do will become better. Let's go. Let's grow. Let's get it.
Let's go. Let's grow.